sorry. Anyways, so this is part 2 of it. But they went to the hospital, and then I stayed home, well, at Tiff's house with Brayden, and I just screamed, and Brayden didn't hear me. He was upstairs listening to music, and I just screamed. I didn't know what else to do, really. And then, me and my friend Cora were kind of fighting. She's been my best friend since, like, 5th grade, and we were kind of fighting at the time. So I didn't really know who to call, but the first person I called was her. For anyone else, I didn't call anyone else at all. And I called her very first, and she wouldn't answer, and I called her like 20 times, and she wouldn't answer, and I was so mad. And then I set the phone down, and I just cried, and I was just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know who to call, who to talk to. And then she called back, and I told her all about it, and she was freaking out. She was like, well, I'm sorry. And she was like, I'm sure she's not gonna, like, you know, die. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So I call my mom, and my sister's boyfriend Will picks us up, and then we go back to my house, and we get a call, and it says, and they just say she has a tumor in her head, and we're like, oh, well, it's fixable. Like, it's fixable, whatever. And we go there and talk to her, and then the next day I wake up, and my mom's like, she has 6 months to a year to live. And I was just like, what? Like, what? That's not possible. Like, nothing has ever happened bad in our family at all. And it's located, like, it was located on her brainstem, so we couldn't fix it. We couldn't do anything at all. And then she slowly got paralyzed in a week. In a week of her being in the hospital, and she was, like, walking and stuff. And then we took her home, and in the 2nd month of her dying, so in February, my dad was drinking, and he hadn't eaten anything. Like, he's not an alcoholic, he just, weekends he drinks. And he works every day of the week, hard as ever, never misses a day at work. Been the manager for, like, years. And he was drinking one night, hadn't eaten anything, and passed out and hit his head, like, on the cabinet, like, on the corner of it. When he woke up, he wasn't talking right. And then my mom called an ambulance, and he couldn't remember, like, stuff at all. He could remember it, but he couldn't say anything, like, I don't know, and it was a stroke. And he didn't know what a curtain was. And it was just terrible, and he knew what it was, but he couldn't say it. And one time, whenever I asked him what a carpet or a curtain was, he said, yeah, I know what a fucking carpet or curtain is. Do you think I'm retarded? And I was like, oh my gosh. It just made me laugh. But he tries to be silly about it. But he's doing so much better now. He can talk so much better. But he still stutters and has a hard time. But she told him the girl who diagnosed him with what he has told him that he could never talk like normal again, and he's doing like almost fine. I don't even notice it. But he is no longer the manager of this carpet store. He is the measuring guy. So he really doesn't even get weekends off. He only gets Sundays off. So every day he's working for us. And then the days go by, and I tried to raise money, do anything at all that we possibly could for Tren, and she was doing really bad on this one day, and I went over and seen her. I didn't go to school that day. I missed so much school. I was 7th grade. It was crazy. I'm going into 9th now, but 7th grade I missed so much school because I was always home just crying, or I was at my boyfriend Joey's house, or I was at Tren's house. I was never at school, barely ever. And when I did go to school, it was counseling half the day, and then I went to school with all this paperwork. Like, it was terrible. I almost failed, and but Tren was not doing too good, and I went and seen her. My mom told me she was just having a bad day.